good evening everybody. Be it resolved that the Council of Neepawa approve the regular meeting agenda for September 19, 2023. Moved by Cicely, seconded by Councillor Nadeau. All those in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the Council of the Town of Neepawa approve the minutes of the regular meeting held September 5th, 2023 as circulated. Moved by Councillor Kosenchuk, seconded by Councillor Gerard. All those in favor? And carried. Do we have any council reports? Councillor Nadeau?
Yes, I do. Well, it brings me great pride to bring forward from the committee that I'm the chair of, the Environmental Health and Volunteerism Committee, something that we've been working on for some time, but we're trying to work on the best way to implement it, and we can't move too fast as there's a lot of deadlines and timelines, but we know that this has to do with volunteering in our community. If you wanted to take a look at this here. So what this is actually an application for our residents that we know love to volunteer and help out in our committee, and anyone that knows me knows that I like to volunteer myself. But this here is going to make it a little more streamlined. So this application form that you would fill out, it's going to be on our social media right away. It'll show you the link on our town website. It'll be created to a little bit of a database that will establish what individuals in our community would like to volunteer for different areas. So some of the areas include helping out on Canada Day. Currently on our social media, you might see we're looking for some volunteers to help out with some barbecuing. So here it allows our volunteers to address what their strengths are and what areas and what times of the year that they're available to help out and do that good citizenship in their community. So this new form will link it to a database which will help our town staff coordinate the volunteers with the different work that they'd like to do in order to make that difference in their community. So I present this to council, and I guess do we have to pass it as a motion? Is that something we should move? No, we can.
You're still working on it.
Okay, we can. It will be going onto our webpage though right away, so it's something that people in the community can look to and can start signing up, because we get a lot of people coming to us asking, how can I volunteer? And we know with Earth Day's coming just really soon in April, and we know we want to start working towards all those great things in our community. So that's everything.
Okay. If somebody's not has accessibility to social media or to do this, can they pick these forms up at the town office at all?
That's a great question. Yes, if you just came to the front desk at our town office, or if you threw us an email, I'm sure we can forward a copy out to people to complete. So thank you very much for that question.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Nadeau. Any other council reports? Councillor Cicely?
So we had our Recreation Economic Development meeting just shortly before council meeting tonight. There's some stuff I wanted to highlight. Actually, I have quite a bit of information. I will try and go through fast. Babysitting course, October 3rd at $65 per participant. You can register for that at neepawa.ca. The Fall Fever Youth Bike Race is this Saturday, September 23rd from 10 to 2 p.m. at the back 40. The first race at the park it's the first race for the park, kids 16 and under. As Jason mentioned, we are looking for volunteers to assist with the barbecue, registration, and timing of races. It is a free barbecue for spectators and racers, courtesy of Neepawa Home Hardware. We do have the Name the Park contest. We are looking for a new name for the park west of Hillcrest, the tennis court, pickleball, volleyball, and basketball court there. There's a full list of rules and entry forms at neepawa.ca. The winner will be announced at the October 17th council meeting. Nicole has organized a Feeling Fall scavenger hunt. You can get a map at the town office or on the website, visit all the places and find the code words. So if you go down to Riverbend Park and you have to find the code words that Nicole has for fall, The more cold boards you find, the more entries you have to win some great prizes. So it's not just Riverbend, it's all around town, all of the recreation places. It's to encourage residents to check out all the amenities we have in town. The swimming pool, Nicole wanted to thank everybody, as well as us want to thank everybody for completing the survey. We'll be sharing some of the answers to the questions in the next week. There were 698 swimming lessons completed this year, so it was pretty neat to actually see the stats that they had from the pool. Day camp, there was 439 day campers that attended our 8 weeks of camp. Big thank you to Jim Schmall for fixing and painting benches for the pickleball courts. And again, please do not ride bikes or scooters on the surface. It's ruining the integrity of it. The paddles and balls for pickleball can be borrowed from the town office with a $10 deposit. Back 40, construction is happening over the next month or so. The park remains open while working, but please use care and caution and avoid biking close to the machines. In conjunction with the back 40, the lookout towers, the concrete pads will be poured at the locations, which is the bike park and Park Lake, in the coming weeks. The towers have been fabricated and are ready to install once cement is ready. And I think the last thing Nicole had was the storybook trail. The new books are installed monthly. She just wanted to highlight it's a perfect way to get kids doing some physical activity while enjoying a story. And it's a project of Recreation, Neepawa Library, and Neepawa Men's Shed. Now, Marilyn's had What's the Big Idea? She's got 4 businesses registered so far, with 5 more interested in pitching their business ideas. That will be October 12th. It starts at 9 a.m. at the Legion, and it's open to the public to attend and hear the pitches and listen to some of the speakers that will be there. The LPN community event, there is going to be another one. This one's going to be October 11th. It is going to be in the back of the library from 6 to 8 p.m. This will be a come and go event where any interested potential LPN school candidates will be able to get some more information about what they will need to get in for registration. Neepawa Tourism, this was a highlight that Marilyn had mentioned, is partnered with Neepawa Gladstone Co-op to carry tourism merchandise. So there's tourism merchandise now at the Co-op gas bar, grocery store, and the home store. And lastly, Handyman. We had our Fuel Good Day barbecue today. It was an amazing turnout, beautiful day for it. We wanted to thank everyone that came, and thank you to Co-op, Neepawa Gladstone Co-op, for selecting the Handyman to be part of this year's Fuel Good Day. We had a 50-50 in conjunction with what the Neepawa Handyman did, and the winner was Mick Kilbacki, and the pot for him was $2,232.50. And we were able to raise $692 from the barbecue, and now we get to wait and hear what we get from the 10 cents a liter. So it was a pretty exciting day for a handyman. So. Sorry for the long report.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, any further council reports?
Yes, on September 12th, Governance and Finance had a meeting. We're going through some of the early process for budget for 2024, discussing projects. Got some updates currently from some of what needs to occur on an infrastructure point, and I guess our next step will probably be to meet with someone on the rec committee or rec committee members, so we can start seeing some of their long-term goals and visions there as well on the budget side. And just to talking some future planning, maybe not specific to this year and dollars costing, more on a governance point, but that's what happened on the 12th, and we would like to continue on with those in the short term.
Okay, thank you. Any further council reports? Okay, and I'll defer our Public Works meeting to Manager of Operations.
Well, if Deputy Mayor Perry would like, we can indulge on it as well, but we did have an infrastructure meeting where we went over some of the projects for this year that are still ongoing. And again, kind of highlighting some wishes and wants for next year so that those can be punched into the budget and start discussing this early on. So some of those ongoing projects right now, the Park Lake one, I believe Colleen can pass around the sheet. I gave a printout. council can thumb through some of the current updates on it.
I sent it out to them actually.
Oh, you did? Okay.
So yeah, it's hard for the viewing public, but there's just a few pictures here, progress. And
So we got that one. So that construction's ongoing. It's moving along. It's actually gradual to see it, but they are coming out of the ground and getting higher. A lot of the cross-contaminated fill with some of the old garbage has been all hauled off site, so that's been tidied off the site now. They're still working on some, well, they will be working continuously on the dike, but also the drainage bed as well to wick any moisture away. Concrete works are moving along nicely. I believe they got 2 pours scheduled for this week, one tomorrow, one Saturday. They're bringing in additional staff to try to vamp it up. Lagoon, I thought was winding down a little bit, but there's still a little bit of trickle work that's happening there. So there's still some residual concrete work that's happening there and some minor building stuff that's happening in the interior. But like I said, we're still waiting on some major deliveries of equipment in there. New water main for the hospital site has been tendered out, like I mentioned last week. That closes this Friday, so we had test holes opened up for potential contractors to come use some soil conditions and groundwater. As Councillor Sisley mentioned, the bike park contractor Dig Trail Design are currently out on site. They're working away. They're making quick progress. They're even optimistic they may have one run open for us on the weekend to try out. So we'll see how that moves along. We announced the yard waste pickup, and that'll be occurring every Monday. So residents are encouraged to put their yard waste out. Neat, tidy. Pickup will only be in compostable bags. So if it's left behind, paper compostable bags. If it's left behind, you've not put it in the proper bin or storage or bag, it's not acceptable. So we need something that's easy and compostable. Another item too is that we've also instructed our garbage and recycling contractors to be a little firmer with residents. So if they see any recycling sticking out of your cart that is deemed to be contaminated, unacceptable, coffee cups, plastic bags, black garbage bags, they're leaving it, and those items are being reported back to us. We're starting to be much firm on that, as Evergreen is also cracking down on all their partners as well, so that we will actually incur some fines for cross-contaminated loads. So we will be going back to the end user that supplied those contaminants and going back to them, and we're actually going to be hosting some meetings with some parties to discuss some potential fines that'll be going out. That's all I've got.
Okay, any questions for the manager of operations? Okay. Councilor Gerard.
Just on the Park Lake, it was great to see all those pictures, and you see that spillway, and it looks like a hydroelectric dam going in, and then a spillway, but it's impressive structure. Just curious, time frames, we're still on time, on schedule, just as what they're saying.
We're slightly behind. They've had some difficulties with some of the materials. Like I mentioned, the moisture wicking sand that they had chosen was very difficult to work with. The contractor had a number of issues during placement and trying to get proper compaction on it. And yeah, I haven't seen a final schedule, so how far behind schedule they are. I believe it may be close to 2 weeks. But they're also, like I said, the concrete crew is doubling up to 19 staff now to start pushing that forward. We're seeing double pours a week now for those sections of concrete. The dike crew that are doing all the compaction, and
It's impressive.
I saw quite a bit more progress this week when I went on site now, when you start comparing it to the prior weeks. So it's good to see it.
They start early and they run late.
Yeah.
Yes, they
They're a
do.
lot.
Well, they do, and it's the same thing, because we're doing in conjunction, we're doing the flushing this weekend for the raw water line. And it's the same thing, I have to make arrangements because they're working Sunday. Like, they're going continuous.
No, just, I guess when I say schedule, the intention is
The
start
goal-
capturing water for spring for restoration of the lake, or is it
This fall,
This fall.
this fall?
we want to see, because we, at the point of freeze up, we cannot do any more compaction on soil. So all of that earthwork has to be completed before we start seeing freezing temperatures.
Okay.
Likewise for the concrete, otherwise they'll have to start heating and hoarding it to ensure that it's properly placed. Okay, so that's something that they are not looking forward to, so they're scrambling.
Great.
I think our benefit Tricor has just been amazing.
I haven't seen that kind of vested interest that prolonged on a project. It's like I said, before the sun's up, you hear machinery starting up, and it goes right till dark. And it's
And beyond.
and relentless. Just, and I appreciate the effort on behalf of that crew.
Yeah, they've been great to deal with.
I have to say, we had some at the barbecue today, the guys that came up, and they were very, very polite, and we were chatting about Park Lake, and yeah, it was very good.
Hey, thank you, everybody.
So they did
Okay.
get the construction equipment fuel.
Yeah, they did, they came through to fuel up and they grabbed burgers.
So they did.
Okay, we'll move into finance now. Be it resolved that we approve the financial statement for the month ending July 31st, 2023. We have a mover, Councillor Sisley, Councillor Pottinger. Any discussion on it? All those in favor? And carried. Okay, we have a resolution for the supplementary taxes. You wish to speak on this?
So just very quickly, those of you that may have read your agenda early, you're gonna notice some changes that occurred yesterday. So when we were initially sent all the information from the assessment branch that would tell us what additions and deletions we would have for the roll for 2023, it was actually not a full list. They sent us what they could. Since that time, in a matter of a day or so, we actually got an additional list. So we were initially going to let you, if you read the resolution have you add about $20,000 to the tax roll for 2023. But actually, in all reality, we are adding $152,000 roughly to the tax roll. We are removing roughly $6,700. So the net added and deleted tax for 2023 will be $145,718.
Is there a home for it?
What?
Is there a home for it?
The training center. Did I say that? Yes, there's always a home for it. So this was very much welcome.
Okay, thank you. Be it resolved that in accordance with Section 326 of the Municipal Act, the Council of the Town of Neepawa approve supplementary additions and deletions to the 2023 tax roll as per information received from the Provincial Assessment Branch. The detailed listing is attached as Schedule A and reflects a net added tax value of $145,718. Do I have a mover? Councillor Gerard, Councillor Nadeau. Any discussion on the matter? All those in favor? Carried.
Do we know what that netted out as far as added to the assessment of people?
We do, I just don't bring that part because it's
Right.
really the added tax part that you need to pass a resolution for. So we could probably go back to the initial spreadsheets that came, because it's all on there. But it would take us a little bit of time because some of them might be only added for 2 months, some might be 7 months, some might be, so if Jamie could probably pull that out. Yeah, we probably could.
It's just interesting to know, like, how much accessible property we added to our community.
Actually, you know what, come time we'll get the final roll for 2024, we will be able to know and base it against 2023, so we can tell you then. Yep.
Alrighty, we have a closure for the Santa Claus Parade for November 25th. Be it resolved that the Council of the Town authorize the closure of the following streets to facilitate the Parade of Lights on Saturday, November 25th, 2023. Starting at the Yellowhead, travel south on Mountain Avenue to Davidson Street, east on Davidson Street to Brown Avenue, south on Brown Avenue to Hamilton Street, and west on Hamilton Street until the end. These streets to remain closed until the end of the parade and/or scheduled festivities. Any questions on that?
I'll just maybe add to that, this is reverting back to the route before when Davidson Street had been ripped up and not pavement. So this is the original parade route by request to have it return to that same route, so there'll be a lot happening.
Going by the seniors facilities.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
So I am going to bring up one concern, and not that I don't want the parade or anything like that. There is a Titans game that night as well, which is going to throw a wrench in the Yellowhead parking lot. So just timing wise, The barricade should be down, but it could be pretty bad traffic jam around that area.
What time's the game?
I believe it's a 7:30 and people start arriving, teams will arrive 6:15.
So
and
as
then you
long
get-
as the chamber knows to.
Yeah.
Because the parade, they start lining up at 5, I think.
Yeah,
We'll
They
just
line
have
up on
Yeah.
all those adjacent
just as
streets.
long as it's down quick, I think it should avoid.
Because then they end over here, so that shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But you're right, the other vehicles. Logistics will work through, I guess.
Yes.
Okay, I have a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Sicily, seconded by Councillor Kosanchuk. Any further discussion? All those in favor? And carried. We now have a resolution dealing with the Dig Trail Design Limited for the Phase 2 of the multi-use trail park. Any discussion you wish to present on that?
I'll ask Denise to speak to this as well, but this is basically phase 2 of the multi-use trail park project. We received funding through Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program, the COVID-19 Resilience Infrastructure Stream. The funding we received was significant for phase 2. It was going to be a project total of $687,500. The federal government is giving us 80% of that for a tune of $550,000. So we had to come up with 20 cents off every dollar to the total of $137,500, and it's split basically over 2 years. So the commitment each year is, in the scope of our budget, is kind of insignificant. I suppose some would see it as significant. But when you get 80 cents of every dollar given to you by the government of Canada, we're certainly going to take it. So Denise reached out to trail builders. There are very few, and I would suggest none of them local. And maybe I'll let you know.
So our consulting firm took over. This was Scott and Marie again. They did the first phase design. So they were in charge of tendering the project. We had interest. At the end of the day, we only had one bid come in. That was from the Dig Trail. We later found out, and we were kind of warned on this too, that a lot of these builders now are seeing up to a 2-year waiting list because the popularity has just exploded across the country. So to secure a builder is actually quite difficult now. So we're fortunate. So I did manage to see them and actually kind of, they did the work last year in Mendoza and they carried on this year again. So I did have the opportunity to go and ensure I was pleased with their work and their crew. I had no concerns. We reviewed everything. We actually did cut some stuff out of the bid itself just to reduce it and ensure that we stayed in line with the budget.
Okay. Any further questions? Okay, be it resolved that we approve the proposal of Dig Trail Design Limited to complete the construction of Phase 2 of the multi-use trail park in the amount of $329,520 plus GST. Have a mover and a seconder. Okay, moved by Councillor Pottinger, seconded by Councillor Kosanchuk. No further questions? All those in favor? And carried. Okay, we now have a resolution dealing with construction of our water line for the hospital. Comments from Manager of Operations?
I take this as the agreement then regarding just covering crossing the right of way.
So it's the ability to enter into an agreement for the easements for the water line being installed in the rights of way along PGH 5 and 6.
So 2 crossings, one here at Hillcrest. The second will be out at the corner of Breaker 16. The only issue we saw with any of these, and the comments we heard back, was that at the Breaker 16 one, they wanted the encasement pipes lengthened, just to account for future expansion of the highway.
Okay, good. Right. Be it resolved that the town of Neepawa agree to enter into agreement with the province of Manitoba for the construction and maintenance of one 300 millimeter and 150 millimeter water main pipeline within the control limits of and under the portion of Public Transport Highway number 5 and Public Transport Highway number 16 in Northeast 28 14 15 West and Northwest and Northeast 27 14 15 West, Northwest 26, 14, 15 West, and Southwest 35, 14, 15 West within the town of Neepawa, Manitoba Water Services Board contract number 1714. Moved by Councillor Girard, seconded by Councillor Nadeau. Any further questions on this matter? All those in favor? And carried. Any other business? Okay, seeing none, be it resolved that the Council of Town of Neepawa do now adjourn the regular council meeting at 7:27 p.m. Moved by Councillor Kostychuk, Councillor Nadeau. All those in favor?